Paul, what did you make of Bruno's penalty, talking of him? Because it just seemed that he had the weight of the world on his shoulders and he stepped up. And I mean, again, I'd like you to comment on what you thought about the kick.
I don't like them silly run-ups. I mean, the straight run-ups. The straight run-ups are hard for a goalkeeper because it's hard to read which way a player's going to go. But credit Robert Sanchez in the goal. He stood up. He stood big. He made himself like a great big star in the middle of the goal. And he said, "Go on, then beat me." And he did that stupid stuttering run-up. And when he looked up to see which way the goalkeeper had gone, he hadn't. The goalkeeper was still there. So at that point, Bruno has to put it in the corners, and he didn't. Listen, any penalty that goes in, it's a good penalty, and you can't say it was a bad penalty. It was a good save, but it wasn't inside the post. It wasn't a convincing penalty. But by that time, United should have been out of sight. McTominay had a great double chance. Sanchez made a save. Garnacho had another opportunity. But for me, if that penalty goes in, we say nothing. But you can pick the bones out of it because it was a stupid run-up. It was a straight run-up. It was a stuttering run-up. It wasn't hit with conviction. I'd have liked to have seen somebody just grab the ball, smash the ball.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Always the best penalties are always the ones that are hit hard and into the corners, whether it's low into the corner or high into the corner. Then hit the side of the net. They're impossible to save. No keeper saving them. The run-ups, rubbish, and there's no power. I mean, I wouldn't have minded being in goal for that one. So I wouldn't have saved it still, but it was terrible from Fernandes. If you're a Man United fan, would you want him taking penalties? No, you wouldn't.
Paul's going to be sending Waves some gloves soon for some training sessions. We've spoken about the squad here quite a bit. I think it's worth touching on. We're only a few weeks away now from the January transfer window. Wayne, which positions do you think United really need to strengthen in this upcoming window to kind of solidify that push into the top six, the top four, wherever you see them finishing?
And their top target is a centre-back. I'm told their top target is Mark Guay of Crystal Palace. He's the one they really want. Crystal Palace don't want to sell him and would only accept an offer of around £60 million. From what I understand, Man United value him close to 45 million. So that deal is probably not likely at this stage, but he is a definite top target. They want a centre-back. Varane's got injury issues. He's got sort of conditioning issues. Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans, obviously, not the future Man United. And I think probably the only one of the signings from Ten Hag is Martinez, who's done well. So they definitely want a new centre-back. I mean, I personally think they need a centre midfielder as well. Casemiro's future's in major doubt. There's interest from Saudi, and he could very well leave in January at a massive loss to Man United. Their priority is centre-back. And going further forward, perhaps into the summer, centre-forward as well, despite 70 million spent on Højlund. They're also looking at bringing in another striker. Why on earth they didn't buy Harry Kane, push the boat out for that is beyond me, because Kane was interested in going there. And if Man United had paid the 90 million that Tottenham wanted, then he most likely would have gone there, but they are still looking for a striker.
And Paul, you were obviously at the game last night. You got to see in the flesh Scott McTominay. I mean, great performance, got a brace. What position do you think he suits best? Because it just seems to be, for so long, he's played so deep. But actually, he's a bit like, I'd say, like a Thomas Souček, in that he actually suits slightly further forward in that box-to-box 8 role. Where do you see his best position for Ten Hag going forwards?
I agree. But United play him in that defensive holding midfield role alongside Amrabat. And the problems that United had last night was when Cole Palmer, when Raheem Sterling got in behind McTominay and Amrabat, and at the back four. Defensive. Amrabat, for me, he hasn't adapted to the pace of the Premier League yet. He still looks slow. He still looks off the pace. And I think he left him out last weekend, potentially because of that at Newcastle. McTominay, for me, is better deployed further up the field. We've seen him scoring goals at international level. We've seen him scoring goals at club level. I mean, he's Manchester United's top scorer. I was looking at it this morning. McTominay's Manchester United's top scorer was 6. Bruno Fernandes with 5, who takes penalties. Højlund, who they paid 70 million for, has got 5. And Casemiro is the next on 4. So goal scoring obviously is an issue. But picking up on your point about signings in January, the biggest signings they can do is get the board structure in place. Because are you going to let a manager spend money who's spent money on Anthony? Has that worked? Not yet. Højlund? No. Amrabat? No. You look at the players that he's signed, his own players, the amount of money, over 500 million, that he's been allowed to spend on his own players, with all the unrest off the field, without a sporting director, with a temporary CEO in charge. Who is going to actually have the authority to go and sign these players? And is the manager going to be trusted after what's happened on the pitch so far? There's so many questions still to answer.
You've just watched a segment from Football Insider's brand new podcast, The Inside Track, with me, Lewis Pearce, alongside the guests on the show. Thanks very much for tuning in. Please do give the video a like, comment your thoughts on the topic, and feel free to share on your social media pages. If you want to listen to the full podcast episode, click the link in the description below. Keep your eyes peeled for plenty more content and exclusives here on The Inside Track.